work on electricity during our day-to-day jobs, Palmetto Electric provides us with personal protective equipment. That's a hard hat. It's made out of plastic, protects from debris or anything that may fall towards our head. We have rubber gloves protected by leather protectors, and these are tested each month to protect us from any punctured holes or anything, because we deal with a lot of outside equipment. There's bushes, could be rose bushes, something with thorns that can probe inside the rubber. And this type of rubber is not the same as what your mom and dad have under the kitchen sink. These are tested each month for our safety. Anybody that works on electricity at Palmetto Electric, we have to test these gloves, and they send them back to us. And then we individually have to test these gloves ourselves for our own protection as a double check, if you will. The leather that slides over the top of the rubber, this protects against thorns or anything sharp. It's first going to hit this hard leather before it reaches the rubber gloves. And you can see, I don't know if you can see the stamp date when they get them tested, and we each have our own number for our gloves for our personal safety. So I'll put these on. The other thing we have as far as personal protective equipment is safety glasses. These glasses are our safety glasses. They come clear and they come tinted. So we use these to protect our eyes when we're working. So I'll put these on as well. And what I have here is an electrical safety board that Palmetto Electric has provided here, and I'm here to teach you guys. And with me today is Lightning Liz and Neon Leon, and this is an overhead system here that is live electricity. And I have this overhead, and there's an underground section here that I'll demonstrate for you. But when I touch these wires and I make a short circuit, or Lightning Liz or Neon Leon is doing something they're not supposed to, they're going to light up orange, similar to my gloves here, and that's going to let us know that, hey, they touched something that they shouldn't have. So what I'm here today to teach you is not what to do and help you to be safe. We have so many good uses of electricity. It provides lights in our homes, in our businesses where we work. The games you play at home, whether it's an Xbox or any of these other games that y'all play, it has to plug in and needs electricity. That's a benefit. We get washers and dryers to wash and dry our clothes, refrigerators to keep our food cold, stovetops where we can cook our food, hot water heaters so we can, take hot baths, hot showers. So we have so many great uses of electricity. But there are dangers of electricity as well, and that's why I'm here today to teach you.
Have you ever thought of all the ways you use electricity? We depend on electricity to light our homes, charge our phones and computers, wash our clothes. It powers our lives. But electricity can also be dangerous, even deadly when used the wrong way. Keep these electrical safety tips in mind to avoid accidents and injuries. Electricity and liquids do not mix. Never place electronics and appliances near water, like next to the sink or the tub. This tip applies to gaming equipment too. Never place a drink near your gaming console. Spills could result in electric shock. Never climb trees near power lines and electrical equipment. Same goes for kites and drones. Before you fly them, make sure you're far away from any overhead power lines. Never pull a plug from an electrical outlet by its cord. Pull from the plug to avoid potential shock, or ask an adult to help you. Going for a swim? Remember, never swim during stormy weather. If you hear thunder, immediately exit the pool until the storm has passed.
Our first scenario would be a down power line like I started out with. And Neon Leon, he just happened to be walking with Lightning Liz, and he saw this power line dangling from the overhead pole that had gotten torn loose by a thunderstorm, and he grabbed it, and that's not a good thing to do. So the first thing you need to do when you see something like that is to call 911 or call our office number, and we will dispatch a crew out there to repair that. But the best thing to do is if you ever see a down power line or anything dangling, never go up and grab it or touch it, because you will get electrically shocked from it, and it's not good that that'll take place. We also have things of tree branch during a thunderstorm that can land on the power line and cause harm to our system. It can cause power outages, and you can see it conducts electricity. Wood is a conductor, right? Because wood is made up of water, just like our bodies. Our bodies are made up of about 70% of water. So our bodies can conduct electricity, and we just saw that in the demonstration of the down power line. Lightning Liz and Neon Leon, they grabbed that power line. So what that did was created a path of new electricity to Lightning Liz and Neon Leon, and why it does that is all of our system is grounded, and we want it to trip off whenever there's a fault. So they're standing on Earth. Earth is our grounding grid, so each pole that we see here, each transformer, whether it's an overhead transformer or underground transformer, each one of them have 8 to 10 foot ground rod that's driven into ground through earth, and there's a copper wire that's tied into our grounding on our system. So when we have a tree on the power line, you know, that's going to trip off circuits in our substations or fuses on our poles, and we want it to do that because we don't want a live power line just sitting there arcing on the ground and that kind of thing, because that's very dangerous, as you can see previously with Lightning Liz and Neon Leon. So getting back to the tree branch, these cause power outages, and we're talking, you know, this could cause 500 customers, members on our system to be out of power for an hour, you know, until we get there to repair it. And that's a down power line. Now we're talking about trees falling on the... So Lightning Liz, she grabbed the limb that's fallen from the tree and on the power line, and she has electrocuted herself by creating another path through this limb that she touched, and it created the path to where she's standing on the ground. So we never ever want to touch anything that's dangling or looks unsafe around a power line system, okay? You have squirrels. Squirrels right here. My simulated squirrel. They cause a lot of power outages. And in some areas, heavily populated squirrel population, we put these things equipment called squirrel guards. And they can climb up the pole, they can scurry across the power line, you know, and not get harmed, and I'll explain why that's the case. When a squirrel's sitting on the power line or walking across it, or you may even have a bird, this is simulating a bird, they can sit up there, they become part of that wire, they become part of the circuit. So they're sitting up there, but they're not grounded per se, so they become a live electrical, you know, activated by sitting on that power line, and they don't even know it. But if the squirrel, he touches the wrong thing that's grounded, that squirrel's history. He's going to die. He's going to fall off the pole. Our linemen are going to go to the trouble call. Somebody's going to call in, hey, my light's turned off. They've been off for a few minutes. Can you send somebody out to repair it? 9 times out of 10, they're going to find a dead squirrel somewhere. Typically, you're not going to find a bird. But the squirrels are a big number with power outages. And no different than us, the way lightning lives, or even if me, I touch that power line dangling, I'm going to get electrocuted because I'm standing on the ground. No different than the squirrel. He made a new path from the ground to his body through the power line, and it electrocuted the squirrel. We talked about the birds. You never want to climb on a rooftop, ladders. You know, if Dad's up there power washing his home and getting the shingles all clean, you as a kid, you want to stay down below. You may even want to help hold the ladder, but don't get up there on the roof. Even Dad's in danger, or Mom might be up there, because shingles get slick, they get grimy, and you can fall. And the reason I'm saying to be careful up there and not be up there at all is because if you can see this overhead service wire, this conductor goes to the side of the house and connects to a mast on the side of the house. Even that electrical wire, that conductor wire, service entrance wire, has a lot of electricity. So there's a chance that you can be electrically shocked there as well. So climbing on rooftops is not a good idea. All of our equipment has danger, high voltage, cyclone fences around our substations. All of our high voltage equipment will have these stickers, danger, high voltage. They're there for a reason. We want you guys to be safe. Only qualified personnel is qualified to go in those entry points of those cyclone gates. So when you see high voltage danger, that's your first sign. Hey, I need to turn around. We don't need to play around this equipment. Let's get out of here and go find somewhere else safe to play. In our coastal areas, we have, especially over here, Bluffton, Hilton Head, there is a possibility for sailboats with masts on them. Not too many nowadays, I don't think, have metal masts that go up to hold the sail, but there's a possibility that could be dangerous, whether it's a fiberglass mast or a steel or aluminum, whatever it may be. So anybody on that boat, and I do know of some islands that have the power line going across the waterway. You know, it's built real high, so there's plenty height clearance. But who's to say that, you know, after a hurricane or something with tidal waves and coming through, weakened those poles, the wind weakened it, and it dropped that wire down. Even boaters, sailboat captains, they have to be careful whether they're crossing under a bridge or under anybody's power lines, because water and electricity don't mix. So anybody that might be on the sailboat and they touch the power line up top, anybody on that boat will be electrocuted. You kids, if y'all happen to be out there on a sailboat and you want to talk to the captain, and you see power lines, say, hey, we need to be careful with that. You'll know what I'm talking about. I've been talking pretty much about overhead power lines. Now I'm going to switch over to underground. We have a tractor here, and somebody's wanting to dig, maybe put some plants around our equipment, that kind of thing. And we have stickers, we have signage that says, no digging, keep away, call for locates, that kind of thing. There's a number you call, I believe it's 811, that you call and get a digging certificate there, a locate certificate, a number there, and that covers you if anything goes wrong. We send our people out there to locate the power lines, and you could have anybody from water and sewer, electric company, Palmetto Electric's power lines, hard-grade telephone, cable TV. So they come out and they flag the areas of all those utilities in that ditch, or their separate ditches. Some of them may be joint trenches. But that lets the contractor or whoever called the ticket in, that gives them safety to where they're digging in the dirt, they can stay away from that electric line and not cause any power outages, not cause harm to themselves on the tractor. But let's say somebody didn't call for locates, and he's on the tractor and he's digging in the ground. Whether they're building a house, they're putting water and sewer in, anybody could be doing anything on a house lot or any lot, but they didn't call locates, and they got too close to our underground transformer and they dug too deep and got into our power line cable. So Leon, he didn't call locates, so he just caused a big problem. People are probably calling us by now saying, hey, my power light's out. This guy on the tractor, he might be dead, he might be alive, he might be hurt. We never want that to happen. We want people to call locates. It just saves a lot of headache, and it keeps people safe. So you can see the arcing there. And if that was the case, I'm pretty sure a fuse would have blown. But what is on this tractor that possibly could save Leon's life? It's rubber tires. And I need to talk about the rubber, the insulators. I've talked about conductors. Conductors are your power line here, the aluminum wire that conducts electricity. This rod I'm holding is made out of metal, that conducts electricity. The sailboat I just talked about, it's got a metal shaft here for demonstration. It conducts electricity. Anything that conducts electricity, we use the wood limb, the tree branch that had water in it. Even a dead branch with no water, it's wood, it conducts electricity. And insulators are things like plastic, like my hard hat, rubber, like the rubber gloves I'm wearing. Those are insulators. So when I talk about the tires on the tractor, whether it's on a tractor or a car, those rubber tires, as long as you're not touching anything metal, I would pretty much assume you would be safe until you got help on the way, and we knew for sure that this power line was not activated anymore, that it was dead, and the fuse had blown, and we felt safe that you could get off the tractor. But unless that tractor or anything caught fire, you need to stay on that tractor. And while I'm talking about the tractor and the tires, let me talk about a car. If for some odd chance that you're with somebody and they accidentally run off the road and hit a power pole, and that line drops down on the power or near you or on the car, the best thing to do is stay inside the car until help arrives. And I'm pretty sure somebody's going to be calling 911 if something like that was to drastically happen. Unless something catches fire, you have to get out of that vehicle. And I talked about the grounding part of it. Whenever you're sitting in a car, you're sitting down, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your foot out of the car. Well, what you just did, if that electrical line is sitting on top of that metal car, you've created a path from your body to the ground. So the best thing to do would be, and you're small enough as a child to, and moms and dads, even me, will have to jump out somehow with both feet. That way we're not connecting a path from what's electrified to the ground, because we do not want to cause a path of electricity to the ground from that car with the down power line. And then after you're out, you want to shuffle as far away as you can from the down power line and from the car into safety. The last thing we have is we use a hot dog to represent our finger. So I'm going to demonstrate that hot dog on the power line. If you happen to touch into a receptacle or touch electricity, this is similar to what may happen, and I'm just going to demonstrate what it will do if we touch electricity. So with this, guys, do not touch electricity. It's very dangerous. And I hope today that with all that I've demonstrated and all that I've talked about, that you will be more safety conscious of what you see out and about.
These are just a few tips to keep in mind. Remember, electricity is amazing stuff, but you should always play it safe. If you're not sure about something, ask an adult. Want more tips? We're here to help. Contact us to learn more about electrical safety.